Welcome back, guys. It's been a while, so we're gonna do a mod tutorial for the first video back. We're gonna be focusing on Halo 3, and I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make your own level and how to also import your own custom bitmaps, which are basically like textures or shaders, as they call them in Halo 3. And I'm gonna show you how to use instance geometry in your level to make decorations. So we're basically going to be going over all that. You guys are going to need a Soyuz, and you're going to need your Halo 3 mod tools if you haven't had those downloaded, and you are going to need the latest version of Blender on Steam, and you're also going to need General's Blender Toolkit for Halo, and I will leave a link to all these things in the description. So just to recap, we're going to make a basic level, we're going to put our own texture in it, and then we're going to learn how to do decorating. I'll show you guys the workflow for making a custom map for Halo, and then I'll go over what everything means, what it does, and your final product. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with showing you how to install the Halo mod tools for, or the Blender toolset, I apologize, for Blender. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Edit when you're in Blender, and then you're going to go to Preferences. You are going to go to Add-ons. It will pop up with all this stuff. You're going to hit Install right here, and with the link in the description below, if you have not downloaded it, go ahead and download General's Blender toolset. I'll leave a link, and it's going to be a .rar or .zip or whatever. You're going to click on it, and then you're going to push Install Add-on. And basically what this does is give you a bunch of tools right here on the right side that will help you when making your maps. That will have scale models for each game with like vehicles and characters, so you can use those to reference for scale. It'll help you make your light mapping, bone names if you're doing like biped importing, things like that. It'll help you fix up things. It's got a lot of functions, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It'll help you generate a sky. Ooh, excuse me. It'll help you generate a sky if you want to do that. So yeah. After that, we are going to make the first thing, which is going to be our level root. This is basically going to be just a tiny little cube, or a UV sphere. Sorry, I apologize. It's going to be a UV sphere, and you are going to name it B_level root. And once that's finished, you don't gotta worry about it, you can just leave it there. And the first step to make a map simply, just a simple map, we're gonna use a cube. We're gonna go ahead and hit S and scale it up quite a bit, just for now. Alright, and we're gonna go to this viewport right here. As you can see, there's fog in the background, so we don't want that. We're gonna push 1 and just add a bunch of zeros. Get rid of that fog view. There we go. I also like to put my clip start at 1. That's just a personal thing though. I don't know why it's being all funky when I rotate. It usually doesn't happen, but don't worry about it. If anything, just add some more zeros. There we go. So, we're going to scale this cube up quite a bit. And then we are going to go to the Halo tools, and we are going to find our scale model. We're going to go to Halo 3 character, and we are going to choose Master Chief. He's going to be bigger than this. Oh no, he's not. Perfect. So we're using this scale. This is a 1:1 scale of Chief in Halo 3, and we're going to use this to basically scale our map out so we know how large it is, and if we need to lower it or raise it at all. Doesn't really matter in this case because this is just a tutorial, but in future references when you are mapping, you're going to want to use this as kind of a base guideline so you know how big to make things. So something important: if you are making an outdoor map, I mean, you'll need to do this regardless, but especially if you're making an outdoor map, we are going to go to the viewport of our material right here. So we're going to click that. Oh, I apologize. We're going to click this one. If my mouse would listen. Okay, so we're going to click that. should be just the viewport shading, and we're going to do backface culling, and then we are going to hit edit mode after our object is selected, and we're going to do Alt N and then flip. So basically we can see inside of our map, so we can see what we're building, what we're doing, and our normals are facing inwards. So when we spawn in the map, our textures or our skybox or whatever won't be facing outside, they'll be facing towards us. Alright, so for this case, I'm not going to do anything fancy with the geometry yet. We're just going to get the basic cube down and working as a custom map. So what I'm going to do for this example is probably an outdoor map, just so I can show you guys how the sky material works. So what we're going to do is we are going to hit number 3 on our keyboard. So we have face selection, and we are going to select all these outer faces and the top one. We are going to go down here to this material ball and assign a new material. And we're going to name it plus sky. And we're going to change the base color. You don't have to do this, but I do it just because I like a reference of knowing what my sky's set to as a material. So we're going to hit that, hit assign. So now if we go to our material view, everything should be assigned to a different material. This bottom one right here we are going to be changing shortly. So for this example, I'm going to show you guys how to create a bitmap, and I'm also going to show you how to apply them in Blender properly. So we're going to get to that point right now. I'm going to go ahead and move on to that. Okay, so bitmaps. You want to use a custom texture. Let's say you made a texture in Paint, or you got something online and you want to use that texture in your map. So what we need to do, I really recommend you using a Soyuz for this. It makes the process a lot easier. But we are going to go to our H3EK data folder, which is right here. And then we are going to go to levels, multi, and we are going to make a new folder here. And we're going to call it tutorial. So we have the tutorial folder under data, levels, multi. This is going to be our map, and this folder is important for basically exporting the map and all the textures that are going to be with it. So we're going to make a folder in here, and we're going to call it structure. That's going to be where we save our exported level geometry. And then we are going to make another folder in here, and we are going to call it bitmaps. Now for me, I already have a bitmap prepared for this, but if you don't have anything, keep in mind that it needs to be a .tiff file. I recommend using GIMP or Paint or Photoshop and saving the file as a .tiff, just so it'll be the proper format for Halo. If you don't use a .tiff, it will not work. So we're going to go over here to a Soyuz. We are going to go to import bitmap. We're going to hit browse. We're going to go to H3EK, which is right here, data, levels, multi, and we're going to go to tutorial, and then bitmaps, and we're going to click on our bitmap. We're going to hit open, and it's going to import our bitmap. Perfect. So our bitmap is complete. Now what we need to do is use Gorilla, and we need to make a shader. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way back to our H3EK. We are going to go to Gorilla. And essentially what we're doing is making a shader tag for our level, so the import will recognize it and show it in game. So we're going to go to new tag. We're going to go all the way down until you see shader. There we go. And it's going to pop up with all this mumbo jumbo. Don't worry about it. All you need to do is go right here to base map, hit the little box, go to H3EK. You're going to go to tags, levels, multi, tutorial, bitmaps, and dirt.bitmap. Then you are going to save as, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go to tags, and you're going to go to levels, multi, tutorial, and then we're going to make a new folder here, and we're going to call it shaders. And then you're going to rename your shader to what your bitmap was named. So in our case, it was just dirt. I'm going to save that in this folder, and our shader is done. So you can exit out of Gorilla. We're going to go ahead and go back to Blender, and I'm going to show you guys how to apply the texture to the level, and then we're going to export it and see what it looks like. Back in Blender, we have our beautiful blue cube here, and we have our floor surface. So keep in mind this level is not going to be very big, as you can tell. I can always scale it up, but this is just for a quick tutorial and showing you how to get involved and get going with making levels for Halo 3. So we're going to click on this bottom plane. Remember, hit number 3 in edit mode right here, and then make sure that this bottom plane is selected. We are going to add a new material. We're going to come down here to base color, and we're going to hit this little yellow circle. We're going to make it an image texture. We're going to open the image texture, and we're going to go to H3EK. We are going to go to data, levels, multi, tutorial, bitmaps, dirt.tiff. We're going to open it. Make sure that your material is named the exact same as your shader. So in our case, it will be dirt. You do not have to add the .tiff. Just make sure it's the exact same name, because if it isn't, it will not apply in-game. And there we go. We have a very large, very ugly dirt texture. I'm weird about stuff, so I'm just going to do a quick UV map. So I'm going to scale it down a little bit just so you guys can see how to do that as well. You're going to go ahead and split your viewport if you would like. Right click right here, vertical split, and then drag it out how far you want. You're going to click this little ball with a grid icon on the top left, and you're going to go to UV editor. And here is our UV. We're just going to hit A to select all of our vertices, and we're going to unwrap it. Boom. Our dirt looks a lot less scaled. Looks pretty good. Could be better, but for this purpose, it's just a tutorial. Like I said, I'm not going to go too into depth on stuff like this. I can also do another video if you guys want on more detailed map making methods, and you know, just more things to know in general with the workflow. So, dirt texture is down, scale is in here. You're going to go ahead and delete him for now. We do not need him. We're going to name our cube just floor or level, whichever one, you know, whatever is easiest for you to remember. And we're going to take level, we're going to hold shift, left shift, we're going to click on it, and then we are going to move it up to be level root, and we are going to parent it there. I also spelled level root wrong. There we are. So we are going to parent our level to the level root. So they are parented. You should see a line from our sphere to the level that we just made. Now all we need to do is go to File. We're going to export, and you are going to pick the Halo Amalgam Scene Specification, or the .as file, and then you are going to export it to H3EK, data, levels, multi, tutorial, structure. Make sure your game is set to Halo 3 MCC, and then do not export the generate to asset subdirectories. Make sure it's named the same as your folder, which is tutorial, and then we are going to export it. At the bottom right here, export completed successfully. So we have our map exported, now we just need to get it into the game. So I'm going to show you guys how to compile the map, and then we'll load it up in Sapien and see what it looks like. Alright, so now we have to compile the level. We are going to have a Soyuz set to our Halo 3 profile. If you don't know how to set up profiles, please check my other videos. I go over a Soyuz, how to set it up and get it all ready. The same thing applies for other games in the Master Chief Collection, so it's pretty easy to follow along with. So we're going to go to import and light level. We are not going to do any lighting because we don't have any lights in our level at the point in our development right now. And we're going to go to data, levels, multi, tutorial, structure, tutorial.as, and then we are going to import the level. No errors, perfect. And since we made a shader, the ground texture should be showing. So we're going to open Sapien. We are going to go to our new map, which is going to be in the same spot. It's going to be in tags, levels, multi, and then it'll be in your folder name, which should be tutorial if you're following along. And then hit open. Sapien's going to do its thing, so I will be back when it is loaded in. And look at that. We have loaded our map into Sapien. I can't English, I apologize. We have our beautiful dirt texture, just looking so dirtish. And we have no sky. That is normal, don't worry. We have not put a sky into our level. That'll probably be for another tutorial in the future. But our level is successfully completed and is playable, technically. Now, by playable, I mean you could load it in the game. There are no spawn points, there's nothing like that, so it is not playable essentially in getting in and playing it, like sitting down and playing a match on it. But it does work, and it is a quote-unquote finished map for Halo 3. So now we are going to learn how to make some decorations for our map. We're going to add something called instance geometry, which is basically, instead of using the mesh that we have for our map already, we are going to make separate meshes, and we are going to make them basically be read by the game as decorative pieces that are ignored and don't follow the same rules as our world geometry does. They don't have to be sealed, things like that. So yeah, we're gonna get into that really quick. So we have our map, but you're like, dude, RX, this is boring. There's nothing in my map. It's not very exciting. What can I do? So what we're gonna do, they aren't gonna be exciting or cool looking, but we are gonna put things into our map just to show how instance geometry works. So what I'm going to do is move this viewport a little bit over for now because I'm not doing any UV work. And let's say I want to make a new mesh. We're going to go to object mode. We're going to go to add mesh. And let's do a monkey just for fun, because monkey, you know, monkey brain. We're going to scale this bad boy up. And we are going to pull him up this way. And we're gonna just like make him look cool. He's gonna sit right there. Pull him back a little bit. Nice! We got a monkey. So, we're gonna take our monkey, name it whatever you want, but we're gonna put a % sign in front of it. So I'm gonna do %monkey. And I'm also going to parent it to the level root. And so now, when we export our map, this monkey will be in our level, but it will not have textures, because I am not applying any. If you do want to apply a bitmap to something, it's the same process as I did for the floor. So if I wanted to give this guy like a metal texture, I could just use a metal.tiv file, name it properly in the materials, and then export it, as long as I had these shaders set up. If you don't have shaders set up, your textures will not show up in the game, just so I can clarify that for you guys. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to export .as file. We're going to delete our old one just in case, and export it. Export is completed successfully. We are now going to import the map. We are now going to import the map and see what it looks like. Alright, so Halo was being picky and did not want monkey to work, so I just put in a cube, the same process as I did with the monkey. So here you can see our instanced geometry is sitting here. He's chilling and floating, and he is untextured. That's why he looks like that. So yeah, basically this is the workflow for making a map. I also want to correct that I was not accurate when I said that instance geo did not need to be sealed. It in fact does. But this is the workflow for making a custom map. You can eventually place enemies in here to test, like if you're making new AI or weapons or, you know, whatever, you can use it as like a test level. You can expand on the geometry. You can make it not just a flat plane. You can add a skybox and do all kinds of stuff, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of like a basic overview on how to make a custom level and how to use textures and bitmaps and shaders, and also throw some decorations in. Again, with the instance geometry, it can be any shape, it just has to be sealed. And yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Hopefully it was informative. If you have any questions, or if there's any part where I was stumbling over myself too much and you didn't get what I was saying, just let me know. And I will catch you guys in the next video.